Jesus said in John 7:24, "Do not judge by appearances, but judge with right judgment." Well, I don't think that he was trying to imply that appearances don't matter in figuring things out, but appearances cannot be fully trusted. So then how do we prevent ourselves from being deceived by appearances? That's what we're going to discuss in this episode of Lifting the Darkness. Hi, my name is Danny Levesque, and this is Lifting the Darkness. And if you enjoy the content of this video, then please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button so that you will be notified when the next video is available, which is typically the first of each month. Also, if you think somebody else will enjoy the content of this video or find it helpful, please share it with them so that we can get that content out to them also. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, or if you'd like to ask me questions personally, my email address is in the description below. You can email me at any time, or let me know if you would like to receive updates of when new things are happening within this ministry. Just email me and say that you would like to be added to the email updates. Also, the references for this video will be in the description below. So, Jesus again made this comment, and he made this comment in the midst of the people trying to determine if he was the Messiah by what they saw. Part of what they saw was his education. So they're looking at him, they're evaluating him based on what they're seeing, and it is at that Jesus says to them again in John 7:24, "Do not judge by appearances, but judge with right judgment." So if we aren't to judge by appearances, at least not by appearances only, then what do we need? What tools do we need to use to judge so that we're not being deceived by appearances? James is going to help us out with this. In James chapter 1, verse 12, he says, "Blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial, for when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love him. Let no one say when he is tempted, 'I am being tempted by God,' for God cannot be tempted with evil, and he himself tempts no one. But each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desire." So right there, he gives us the first tool to use, and that is truth. See, when things start to surface and things start to happen and we see different things, we have some kind of emotional response and some feelings about that, and we begin to make a judgment call or an interpretation of what we think is happening. And sometimes we interpret things incorrectly. Just like if you think that your temptation is being caused by God, that's not actually true. So I need to make sure that I'm asking some questions to bring truth into the picture so that I can use those things to correct some faulty thinking and some faulty feelings. Now, James continues with this idea in verse 15. He says, "Then desire, when it has conceived, gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death. Do not be deceived." See, again, this is where we know deception is a part of this picture here. "My beloved brothers, every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow due to change. Of his own will he brought us forth by the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creation," or his creatures. So he says that when good things happen to you, don't be deceived in thinking you made them happen, or that maybe there's a problem with them. Just recognize that every good and perfect gift comes from above. That's a truth statement. And these truth statements are being grounded on that there is with God no variation or shadow due to change. What he means by that is, as appearances, the things that are in front of us that are visible, those things change on a constant basis. And so they're not really consistent and reliable as God is and as truth is. And so when you're experiencing things that you're seeing, ask questions to try to bring truth to the table so that when you're having faulty ideas and thinking, those things can be corrected by the truth. That's the first tool to utilize. Now, the next tool to utilize, verse 19 of James 1 says, "Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger, for the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God. What he's showing us here is how to think soundly, and while emotions aren't necessarily bad, emotions aren't usually wise. And when we begin to see things in front of us, those things sometimes begin to trigger certain emotional impulses like anxiety and stress, anger, insecurity, a desire to control, lust and pleasure. Different things begin to get triggered by the things that we see. And if we let our emotional impulses make the decisions for us, and we begin to say things and do things and make decisions based on those impulses, we are likely to make very unwise decisions and interpret our appearances incorrectly. So the second tool to utilize is to use a sound mind over emotional impulses. Slow your reactions down so that the impulses are not ruling the day. Then verse 21, still in James 1, verse 21, therefore, put away all filthiness and rampant wickedness, and receive with meekness the implanted word which is able to save your souls. So I need to now use some humility here in my response as I'm receiving the implanted word, which I'll get more to that humility in a moment. Verse 22, but be doers of the word and not merely hearers only, deceiving yourselves. So if I'm not utilizing the Bible, there is deception that's at play here. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man who looks intently at his natural face in a mirror, for he looks at himself and goes away and at once forgets what he was like. So I need to not only go to read the Bible, but I need to remember what I read in the Bible. And then verse 25, but the one who looks into the perfect law, the law of liberty, and perseveres, being no hearer who forgets, but a doer who acts, he will be blessed in his doing. If anyone thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his heart, this person's religion is worthless. Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their affliction and to keep oneself unstained from the world. So the third tool here is to use the Bible. Go to the Bible and read what it says. Use the Bible and remember it and apply it to your life. And so when appearances surface that trigger you to have certain reactions and judgments, bring Bible, bring truth into the picture, slow down your impulses with sound judgment, bring in biblical thought into the picture, and you will find yourself being less and less fooled by appearances. Then James 3, verse 13 says, who is wise and understanding among you? By his good conduct, let him show his works in the meekness of wisdom. So here's going to be what will happen as you grow in your discernment skills, in your knowledge of Scripture and truth, and in your mastery of controlling your impulses and your ability to begin to read appearances correctly. What will begin to happen is you'll begin to trust your own judgment without the need for the tools. Because you'll think, I got this, I have this figured out, and you'll stop using the tools. And what will happen is we won't notice it, but by default, we'll start relying again on flesh and appearances in our emotions. And we'll get kind of arrogant, and that'll prevent us from doing the right things to still have sound judgment. Instead, we need to remain humble. We need to remain in a low posture and assume that I can still get this wrong. I can still mess this up if I don't keep using my tools. So I need to keep going back to bringing truth into the picture, bringing Bible to the picture, slowing things down and overriding emotional impulses and things like that, and I'll be on my way to continue to discern things correctly. Now, verse 14 in James 3 says, but if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast and be false to the truth. This is not the wisdom that comes down from above, but is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder and every vile practice. So what needs to happen is I need to concentrate on what is needed for others. Because if I'm focused on, as I'm seeing things that are visible before me, appearances, if I'm focused on what I want to happen, if I'm focused on my agenda taking place, me getting in control, my needs getting met, and I'm focused on self, I'm going to have a hard time seeing what's actually before me. So I need to shift my attention away from my selfish ambition and towards what other people need, what will bring glory to God. And he had mentioned being false to the truth. I need to be honest with my own thoughts and feelings and emotions, my own motives in the picture here. If not, then I'm going to be deceived because I won't allow myself to see what's really there. Then verse 17 says, "But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere." He throws out to us about 4 additional tools here in these few verses. One is to pursue peace. I need to have it my aim that I'm going to get along with this person. We might have conflict, we might have a disagreement that we need to work out, but my end goal is that I'm going to be at peace with this person. If not, if I'm focused on just winning the day, winning the argument, defeating the person, then I'm going to have some faultiness in being able to sift through what's actually happening. Being open to reason, being open to the insights and the statements of others. Instead of just shutting other people down, I'm listening to what other people are seeing, what their perceptions are, open to that maybe they're seeing something I'm not, and this will allow me to see more than just my own perspective, and it'll increase the likelihood I get this correct. Then I need to consider letting things go. The mercy aspect of this. I need to consider that, yeah, they might deserve a certain reaction from me, but maybe I should let this go. And the more I let things go, the more I won't get hung up over making sure we get justice here, and we'll get to actually some kind of solution and some truth here. Then the last one is considering all the options without partiality. So instead of just accepting it because the person I like, the person I respond to favorably, that makes me comfortable, the person I know the most, instead of just or has the most authority, instead of just focusing on that, just what is the truth separate from the people. Don't judge based on who's bringing it, but what is actually true. So a summary of these 10 tools are bringing truth to the picture. So again, I can see appearances and I can use that, but I need to use these other tools to evaluate the inconsistency and untrustworthiness of appearances. So truth, I need to bring truth to the picture. I need to exercise a sound mind over my emotions by slowing down my emotional impulses. I need to bring biblical thought to the picture. I need to have a humble posture. I need to be others focused. I need to be honest with myself and my feelings and motives. I need to pursue peace. I need to be open to reason. I need to let some things go, and I need to consider everything. These will be the tools that will help us be more equipped to interpret appearances correctly and not be deceived by appearances. I hope that was helpful to you. If so, or if you have any questions, just leave those in the comments below or email me personally. I'd be glad to respond to you. Again, the email is in the description below. Please, again, if you like the content of this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, give me a like if you would, and share it with somebody else that you think would find it valuable. Thank you for being a part of the journey of lifting the darkness. Now let's go out there and help others do the same. May God bless you.